Taiwan is our beloved land. We cultivate the land and build our homes. We take care and cherish it, but still cannot protect it from natural disasters. The World Bank of the United Nations assessed Taiwan as an area at high risk for natural disasters. Located in the tropics and subtropics, and at the boundary of the Eurasian Plate and the Philippine Sea Plate, Taiwan is challenged by natural disasters every year. Whenever a natural disaster occurs, we suffer from it as if it were the end of the world. Nevertheless, we learn from these experiences and do better prevention work to give the next generation a safer homeland. The 1999 Jeju earthquake in Nantou pushed the Taiwanese government to attach importance to the development of disaster prevention technology in terms of preventing and mitigating disaster. In 2003, National Science and Technology Center for Disaster Reduction was officially launched. Shortened to NCDR, the center is responsible for the operation of national science and technology programs for disaster prevention, as well as technology transfer, implementation, and application of relevant works. It is an important role that promotes disaster reduction work in our nation. Apart from earthquakes, Taiwan also suffers from typhoon-induced damage, from Typhoon Sodalor, Typhoon Nepartak, to Typhoon Meranti in recent years. We see how typhoons become more intense year by year. How we reduce casualties and minimize loss of lives and assets from natural disasters will be an important topic and challenge. The world has suffered from frequent natural disasters in recent years. These disasters are making emergency alert transmission technology even more important. To respond to the emergency alert need, many countries have successfully installed public warning systems over the last decades. Public Warning System, shortened to PWS, also known as Disaster Prevention and Alert System in Taiwan. PWS can provide instant and accurate information when an emergency occurs. The alerts are transmitted to different release tools with unique sounds to remind residents or tourists in disaster-affected areas to adequately take preventative and response measures. A number of countries, including the US, Japan, Canada, the EU, and Australia, already installed the public warning system to fulfill their disaster prevention needs. Among the systems, Integrated Public Alert and Warning System established by the Federal Emergency Management Agency, FEMA, is deemed as the pioneer. Also known as IPAWS, this system enables the U.S. government to successfully integrate domestic alert channels of different units to increase the alert performance and reduce losses and casualty caused by disasters. To effectively collect and instantly forward alerts of all types of disaster and to reduce time required for information exchange, alert systems adopted by these countries have adopted Common Alerting Protocol, CAP, as the unified standard data format. Common Alerting Protocol, shortened as CAP, is an emergency data exchange format drawn by the Organization for the Advancement of Structured Information Standards, OASIS. Based on extensible markup language, XML, CAP classifies different types of alerts with tags to provide the public and machines with recognizable instant alerts. With the same and standardized data format, different message release channels can simultaneously transmit the same alert message, enabling the public to receive the newest alert information. This helps disaster prevention and relief units not only to reduce time required to process different types of messages, but also to understand disasters that occurred in the same place, helping them analyze disaster status. Taiwan is located in an area at high risk for natural disaster due to its geological and climatic conditions. As the installation of PWS is deemed necessary, NCDR launched the long-term PWS establishment plan starting from 2011. In 2013, Common Alerting Protocol was introduced by NCDR. Based on this international format and incorporating with our nation's disaster reduction demand, Common Alerting Protocol Taiwan Profile was established. Commonly known as CAP Taiwan Profile, It has standardized the country's alert messages to facilitate the exchange and transmission of domestic disaster emergency alerts and public warnings in different types of networks. To facilitate CAP, developers obtain alert information in one window. NCDR further cooperates with the Central Weather Bureau, Soil and Water Conservation Bureau, Water Resources Agency, Directorate General of Highways, Directorate General of Personnel Administration, Taiwan Railways Administration, and Taiwan High-Speed Rail Corporation to establish an NCDR alert platform to support disaster alert open data service. In forms of open data, alerts released by different units can be transmitted to the public through various devices, including mobile phone, TV, radio, and computer. This platform was officially launched on April 29, 2014. It mainly serves alert data applications and release developers by providing instant alerts, including typhoon, torrential rain, earthquake, tsunami, flood, high river water level, reservoir flood discharge, landslide, road closure, school and work cancellation information, and abnormal railway operations. The installation of CAP Taiwan Profile and the NCDR Alert Platform will be deemed as a milestone for our nation in terms of building PWS. At the same time, to enhance disaster emergency communications, NCDR further installed the Emergency Alert Broadcast System, EABS, in 2015 to collect alerts released by disaster reduction agencies in forms of CAP Taiwan Profile and to provide the cell broadcast service. Under the assistance of NCDR and instructions of the Office of Disaster Management of Executive Yuan, EABS was established together with domestic telecommunications operators following the plan drafted with the National Communications Commission, NCC. As the scope of disaster prevention and relief system is rather extensive, alert data collection units all come from Disaster Prevention and Relief Competent Authority, where information release units include our nation's telecommunications operators and terminal equipment, i.e. mobile phone manufacturers. As this is a cross-domain and interdepartmental integration, NCDR specially established an office in charge of planning, communications, and operations during the installation. Regarding the establishment of cell broadcast services, NCC promulgated regulations for administration of mobile broadband businesses in 2013, requesting mobile broadband operators to provide users with free cell broadcast services for disaster prevention and relief. In October of the same year, technical specifications for mobile broadband base station was promulgated, regulating all mobile phones in our country to have the PWS function. The service establishment is founded on the regulations stipulated by NCC. Through interdepartmental and cross-unit integration and communications, NCDR has then completed the Cell Broadcast Message Transmission Framework for PWS. In 2016, EABS was connected to EMIC MSP of National Fire Agency of Ministry of the Interior was completed, where cell broadcast release modules were added to the EMIC MSP to speed up the alert release process. There are 4 major units of message transmission framework, including message source entity, message collection and gathering entity, message transmission entity and application terminal entity. The message source entity is the Disaster Prevention and Relief Competent Authority. Through automatic connection or manual registration, the message will be sent to the Emergency Alert Broadcast System. The platform will collect and organize messages and then transform them into the cell broadcast format before the transmission. The message transmission entity is the Cell Broadcast Center established by our nation's telecommunication operators. Messages received by the operators will be broadcasted through base stations. Users whose mobile phones are 4G or 3G WCDMA devices will receive the message. What is Cell Broadcast Service? Also known as CBS, the service is defined by European Telecommunications Standards Institute, ETSI, where text messages can be simultaneously transmitted to mobile phone users within the region through broadcast. Cell broadcast has a special network signal, which is different from those of voice and data services. As messages are transmitted through independent channels, it is possible to transmit large volume of messages within a short time. This is different from location-based service, which is sent through a cellular number. This is the reason that Cell Broadcast can transmit messages instantly without being affected by network congestion. A simple example of the location-based service, or LBS, is the evacuation message delivered by a village chief who had to knock on every door in the village when a disaster occurred in the past. This consumed not only lots of time, but also energy. CBS, on the other hand, allows the village chief to inform all residents to evacuate by using the radio as it is today. Comparing with the old time, not only does the radio cover a wider range, but also local people will have more time to evacuate. Cell Broadcast is a very good media channel for releasing disaster alerts. The transmission processes are: the Cell Broadcast Entity, CBE, edits the message content and transmits the message code and content, including the transmission details, time, frequency, range, and other parameters, to the Cell Broadcast Center, CBC, through the network. CBC then unifies geological information of all regions and transforms them into cell information that covers the transmission range before sending them to the network management platform. The platform then transmits these messages to the responding base station, base transceiver station, or eNode B through equipment like IP router and MME. Next, the base station transmits the message code and content through Cell Broadcast, enabling terminals, users' devices, within the radio coverage to receive the message. Cell Broadcast messages released by our System for Disaster Prevention and Relief are divided into Presidential Alert and Alert Message. Government agencies that are eligible to release alert messages are Central Weather Bureau, Directorate General of Highways, Water Resources Agency, Soil and Water Conservation Bureau, Centers for Disease Control, and Civil Defense Headquarters. Overall, there are 6 central component authorities that are eligible to release the following 10 types of messages: Instant Torrential Rain Alert, Instant Earthquake Alert, Earthquake Report, Road Closure Alert, Reservoir Flood Discharge Alert, Debris Flow Alert, Epidemic Diseases, International Epidemic Alert, Air Raid Alert, and One-on Exercises. The responsible agency has, according to the alert type, established standards of releasing the alerts. Once the disaster status reaches the alert standard, the agency will release alerts in this region. The establishment of disaster prevention system in Taiwan was triggered by the 2011 Jeju earthquake in Nantou. Governmental operations and relevant adjustments have provided the system with a mature framework and considerable size. With the sustainable operation of existing alert media, such as radio, TV, and network, the Emergency Alert Broadcast System was launched in 2016 as a new, even more effective, easy-to-use, and verifiable tool, perfecting the nation's PWS. A national disaster prevention and alert system shall not only integrate government resources, form a strong ally among private units, and develop information system installation technology, but also make mass education an important part of the system. Ever since, the NCDR project team has conducted a series of promotional activities not only to educate the public on the function and method of EMBS, but also to enable the public to prevent and mitigate disaster. This is our perspective towards the transmission of disaster prevention and relief message. Now, with the reminder of disaster alerts, the public can take instant response measures. In the future, when a natural disaster or circumstance that may endanger citizens' lives and assets occurs in the country, disaster prevention and relief agencies will be able to send alerts to potential disaster-affected areas within the shortest time after the assessment. As long as people have a smartphone device equipped with 4G and 3G service, telecommunications operators will be able to transmit the alert to them through mobile broadband technology. At the moment, the government continues to integrate resources of disaster prevention and relief agencies and alert units. It is our expectation that by taking the trend of mobile phone popularization, the scope of cell broadcast services will expand and become a comprehensive alert network for people of our nation. Go to the official website of NCC or visit the Disaster Prevention Information Kiosk Facebook fan page. These sites will provide citizens more information on the applications and future development of our nation's disaster prevention and alert system. Let's implement disaster prevention education in every Taiwanese citizen's life. Early warning keeps disaster prevention going. National Science and Technology Center for Disaster Reduction. Protecting you with technology.